Once upon a time, in a land far away, in a country called Maharlika, it was a nation of thousands of islands and villages scattered around them. One of its villages is called Vegan. The legend says it is like the flower of the Mayari, some say it's like the twinkly stala, and a few named it the rays of Hanan that will always shine. In that village, a young girl named Tadhana lives with her maternal grandparents. Even though young, she is smart and bold, always eager to find new adventures, and questioning the world around her, and often gets into disagreements with her male teachers. She is tired of seeing the rigged traditions around her where women are often undermined in the society.
I must work for us to earn a living.
No, you must stay at home and guard the kids. That's what women are supposed to do.
One day, a group of people from the other village arrived in Vegan. They are greeted by the soldiers of the chieftain, who demands a reason for their arrival.
By the order of the chieftain, stop right there!
Please, we are all what's left from quiet.
Meanwhile, in the council, they were arguing whether to admit the refugees. Chief Johor was sympathetic to them, citing that Maharlikans should help one another. But one of his councilmen disagreed. In the face of uncertainty, disagreements boiled in the room.
Chief, what do you suggest we do with those refugees?
Those poor lads deserve a home. Their village is devastated.
Chief Johor, stop this! They'll bring this plague here.
Chief, our scouts are also receiving reports of the same incidents from other villages. People are dying.
No, we need to find a place for them. It's our duty to help other Maharlikans.
But Chief!
Meanwhile, back to Tadhana's story, her mother died during childbirth. To make things worse, her supposed father left her, not wanting to have another responsibility.
You know, you remind me a lot of your mother. She was strong, brave, and stubborn.
Then why did she leave?
One day, you will understand.
His grandfather returned home, but he doesn't know it yet, but he caught the disease. The locals call it magsukalibang, because any person who gets infected by it vomits and has diarrhea. It is also characterized by extreme weakness, eye bags, and loss of weight.
Lolo, are you okay?
Witnessing her grandfather on the brink of death, Tadhana is not willing to just stand aside and wait for help. So, she takes matters into her own hands. The people of Vegan were alarmed. Everyone was scared and terrified with many of the villagers getting infected. Many blamed the incompetence of Chief Johor's compassion, and some tried to drive away the refugees. Although he has good intentions, he really wasn't sure what to make out of the situation. As a chieftain, he seems to have failed his people. A long time ago, there used to be a healer in the village, a beautiful woman whose name was forgotten over time. Young and old alike came to her for medicine, and they were cured. One day, her spell did not work as intended. The child died, and the angry parents blamed her for the tragedy. Then those who disliked her from the beginning started to join the bandwagon. The said woman escaped the villagers. From then on, she is nowhere to be found, although there are rumors that some people have attempted to seek her out. The journey was indeed perilous. Days turned weeks, weeks turned months, and their village turned into a graveyard. Still, there was no cure. As they become more desperate, some believed that the only way for the cure was to look for the witch, and some opposed this idea until the wife of the chieftain got the plague. Chief Johor became desperate and immediately called everyone and asked for volunteers to accept the quest, and he will grant anything in return to that someone just to get his wife back in the village.
I gathered you all here to tell you that I have decided to offer you a quest. A quest to find the long-lost healer. Whoever finds the healer and cure my wife and this village will be greatly rewarded.
Having lost their faith in their chief, The villagers were divided with his plan, but amongst the crowd, Tadhana stepped and walked towards Chief Johor. Everybody stares at Tadhana, then there is silence.
I will. I will find the witch.
You must be joking, Tadhana.
The people judge the poor little girl. In time as desperate as this, they find it hard that their fate would be rested on the belief that a woman can save them, much worse, a little girl.
It's impossible for a girl to come back here alive. Remember, you need to pass the spooky forest and the Masaligan Bridge. Do you think you're strong enough to conquer it all?
But that did not matter to the chief. All he can think of is to save his wife and the people. It seems so far, he has run out of options. He gives the young girl a chance and promises her reward.
Are you really sure, young girl, about taking my quest? For me, I don't really care who. What matters more is the witch and the cure. Do so, and you will be greatly rewarded.
I will find the witch, Chief. I won't let you down.
Tadhana went home and immediately asked her grandmother about the legend of the witch and where she lives.
Grandma, can you tell me again the legend of the witch you used to tell me at night? Please, please, please.
What? Why so now? You are being sus.
But Grandma, I accepted the chief's quest, and this is the only way to save...
What? You accepted his quest?
But Grandma...
For the love of God. Tadhana, what were you thinking? You're already dead. I am telling you. Whoa. You really remind me of your mother. You both have an extreme level of stubbornness. But the stubbornness never failed me in regret. It was her source of strength.
So Grandma, tell me, this is the only way I can see to save Grandpa and this village.
Alright. But you need to promise me to go back safely. The journey to the legendary hill is going on. You will find an old giant oak tree. This tree is way different from other trees. After you found the tree, you will go east. Then you will find the Masaligan Bridge. You need to make sure you are light enough, or else some blocks of the bridge may break. After you successfully cross the bridge, you can immediately see a perfect cone-shaped mountain called Matayon. Travel towards the mountain and you will find what you're looking for.
Is she still there? The witch?
Nobody knows. Only you can find out.
When Tadhana is about to leave the kubo and start the quest, there are girls like her who waited outside with their mothers. They offered things that Tadhana may use in her journey.
Brave Tadhana, my little girl here forced me to come here so that she can see you, only to give you this.
Mana, you are so brave to accept the quest. I really love how you stepped forward. From now on, you are my idol.
Also, my girl here, Tadhana, wants to give you this. And this.
And this.
Tadhana's heart is so full upon leaving the village. She placed all the things that were given to her in her bag. She thanked everyone and gave her word to save the village. For a long while, Tadhana traveled north. Her head tilted from the left to the right as her eyes looked around for an old gigantic oak tree. Her skinny build did not seem to give off any sign of tiredness. Finally, at one point, she stopped when she spotted a remarkable oak tree that prevailed from the other big trees in the area. Remembering what her grandmother told her, she went to the old tree as if it were an entrance post somewhere. She paused just under the willow of the tree as she stared into the jungle. She felt a pang of fear as she heard the sounds of the living creatures from the jungle, but she shrugged the feeling off just as soon as she reminded herself what she was doing it for. For the village, she said herself. So she continued to walk into the jungle, with only minimal rays of sunlight getting through the gaps between the trees. Tadhana kept her eyes wide open, and one hand clutched to the dagger given to her from the villagers, tied to her waist. As she walked on, hissing sounds, cricketing, and a subtle sound of flowing water were heard. After a while, she arrived at the stream that blocked the way to the deeper part of the jungle. Tadhana walked closer to the stream. She examined the flow of the water and stared into the stream to get an idea of the depth of the stream, to see if she could get across it by swimming. Unfortunately, while the stream's depth did not scare the swimmer in her, its current, however, was a little too strong for her to tread across, so she thought of another way to cross it without taking such a great risk. Suddenly, she heard a hiss from somewhere close. It was dimmer in that part of the jungle, and it was damp, so she could not easily spot where the hissing actually came from. So she stayed still and looked out for the subtlest movement around. A shrub closest to her was shaking softly, so she thought that was the snake that was already near her. She spotted the head of the snake, which was as big as her hand. It moved faster as it got closer to her. She needed to think fast. She pulled her dagger out in preparation for the snake's attack, while desperately looking for a more efficient solution. Her face lit up when she saw the thick vines dangling above her. Without second thoughts, she leaped as high as she could to reach one of the vines just as the snake was about to attack. Safely hanging onto the vine, she looked down as the snake surrendered to the ground. Tadhana, with her slender body, seemed to be dancing her way around the trees, hopping from branch after branch and hanging from vine after vine until finally she crossed the other side of the stream. When she landed on the ground, she immediately continued on her journey. Tadhana got startled when she heard a growling sound, but laughed when she realized that it came from her stomach. She did not eat anything when she left the village, and she could not possibly continue and face whatever would come with an empty stomach. So, she looked around for fruits and anything edible. Luckily, she found a coconut tree and banana trees, but she wondered how she would get the coconuts or at least get the bananas. She could not reach the bananas, and she could not climb the banana tree because it was too slidey. But she remembered how men in the village harvest the coconuts. They would axe the trunk to make the stepping platforms. But she could not do that because she only had a dagger with her. So, with dawning idea in her mind, she looked for sturdy twigs and sharpened the ends with her dagger. She thought of making short spears to cut the fruits off its trees. As soon as she's done, she began targeting the coconut tree and the stalks of the bananas. She aimed and then threw again and again until all the fruits she wanted were on the ground and free for her to eat. She ate the banana and drank the coconut juice. As soon as she was done, she took off. Finally, she reached the end of the jungle and arrived at the other end of what seemed to be a slim bridge. The Diongzon bridge. Tadhana was stunned when she realized that she was on a very high cliff with an old, dysfunctional bridge connecting it to another cliff. The bridge was made up of only 3 decaying wood planks put side by side with no railing, and not another layer of planks to ensure its passability. Fear crept back in her mind, knowing that a single slip could bring her to her death. She let a tear roll down her cheek and wiped it off immediately. Then she said to herself, "I've got nothing to lose anyway. If I don't cross this bridge, our only chance of survival will be gone. But if I cross, I'd either die or save our lives." The little girl waited no more and began walking the plank very slowly. When she was almost to the middle, where the planks were too decayed that it could break, her one foot slipped. Fortunately, she did not fall, but she heard a crack. That's when she realized that another step would break the bridge. With her heart pounding in her chest, she clawed her hands to the either side of the planks and moved her body up and down as if to shake the bridge and make it willowy. The bridge has to break in order for her to actually use it as a plank to leap to the other side. The bridge finally broke and she continued to use it as a plank to propel her to the other side of the cliff. She gained momentum and decided to leap. And as she leapt, she closed her eyes and prayed, to make it to the other side. Luckily, the odds had been in her favor. Tadhana made it to the other side and went immediately to the Matayon mountain. After going through a series of adventures, Tadhana arrives at the house of the witch who turned out to be a beautiful and kind woman named Aurora.
How did you find me?
Trembling and feeling alone, surrounded by strange trees and in an unfamiliar place, Tadhana still managed to do the best she could not to show fear.
I am Tadhana from the village of Vegan, and there is something that you need to know, healer.
Wait, is this a young girl? Young girl, who are you with? Did you travel all the way here alone?
It's a desperate time calls for desperate measures kind of situation, Aurora. Villagers and Vegan are dying. There is this mysterious disease that had spread after the Kuwayan villagers came. Nobody knows why it is happening, and nobody knows the cure. You need to help us.
That disease is familiar. It could only come from the food, or what do you think? Or it could be.
Oh my! The river! The river! It's the river! I noticed how contaminated the river was. A lot of people deposit their waste there. Then miles from it is our water source for drinking.
Ah, that's why. Now you know. Tell your chief about it. Always remember to clean. Put me down by boiling a glass of water, putting 6 teaspoons of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. Mix it well and let the infected take it.
Thank you so much, Aurora. I badly need to go back. Do you want to come with me?
Anyway, do you still want to get to that bridge and smoothie for us? Because if not, I've a better, shorter path for you to take.
Aurora opened a round door and she told Tadhana that she just needs to follow the light and she will arrive in her village in no time. Tadhana entered the tunnel and she came back home safely. Tadhana raced back to her village as fast as she could, and when she got home, she immediately did what Aurora told her to do. Almost an hour after, Tadhana's grandpa became well. After seeing the results, she rushed to the hut of Chief Johor to prepare the mixture. Upon arriving, Tadhana told Chief Johor everything from the cause to effect to its cure. The chief asked Tadhana about the effectiveness of the liquid mixture. The soldiers even threatened Tadhana to kick her out of the village if she was lying about the cure. An hour passed and nothing happened to the Maraya.
From the start, I know something's fishy about you. Maybe you just lied about going to the witch. Maybe it is just your way to show off and pretend that you are brave, where in fact, you are not. You are nothing. You know what? The best thing to do now is to kick this fraudy weak out before it...
Hunong.
There was a moment of silence after Maraya shouted that loud once again.
Maraya, bring me that young girl, Tadhana. A brave, young girl like you should keep her chin up. Tadhana, you have gone beyond my expectation. I know that this will not only save me, you just save the people of Vegan. Tadhana, it is an honor to offer you all of this. A village chief should always keep his word. As I promised, I will reward the hero with this and a wish that is in my power.
Chief Johor, I came here not for the gold, nor fancy prizes. In my entire life, I was convinced that a girl like me, like her, like them, has a special datu, designated in the future to save the day. This datu of ours is believed to fill what we lack. They will do what we are told and what we can't do. If ever there is one thing I will claim from all your offers, it would be the wish. This day proves that girls can be their own datu. So what I'm wishing for is to open our cages. I believe girls like me don't lack something. What we only lack is an opportunity to go out there and to take up space, and to be part of the society. Hold us equally and I'll consider it granted. Let all girls spread their wings as early as now.
Ever since, the village changed their views on women, who are now allowed to teach in schools and take more advanced social positions. So that's how the story ends. Later on, Unbeknownst to the people of Maharlika, the people of Magellan have arrived in a different place in the country, setting the stage of what is to come for the next 3 centuries.